Government wants even more billions. New ferry to launch next week. And Exxon credits Starbucks for great performance. Hi, I'm Enrico Polford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. The government is seeking an extra $61 billion to finance even more projects and developmental priorities this year, making it the fourth time the government has approached the Parliament for this year for extra money. The funds will be for the period until December the 31st. A majority of the supplementary funding, around $33.3 billion, is being sought by the Ministry of Public Works for several capital projects across the nation, including the construction of the Wismar Bridge, fortifying the sea and river defense network, and the development of wharves and stellings. The Ministry of Agriculture is seeking about $5.6 billion to facilitate, quote, urgent drainage and irrigation works in different regions and to help rehab temporarily abandoned lands. The Office of the Prime Minister is also asking for $5 billion to support power generation and data management activities. The National Assembly will consider and approve the supplementary funding in the next session, but seeing as the government has the majority, it's not going to be much to consider. The government defended its position to increase the nation's debt ceiling by $250 billion to accelerate its development agenda. In defending this motion, the Minister of Finance said the increase in the domestic public debt ceiling from $750 billion, up from originally $500 billion, and the increase in external borrowing ceiling to $900 billion from its existing level of $650 billion, is intended to accelerate the government's development agenda. The opposition raised concerns about the increasing external debt being incurred by the government and warned of the danger associated with raising the debt ceiling in oil-dependent countries like Guyana. Like we can't take any lessons from Venezuela. Nonetheless, the motion comes just 2 years after the government increased both the domestic and external debt ceilings to $500 billion and $560 billion, respectively. The new MV Malaysia ferry, worth $2.5 billion Guyana, will start operations on Thursday, August the 10th, departing from Port Georgetown at 4 p.m. to Region 1. It will have a maximum capacity of 250 revenue-paying passengers, 12 sedan-type vehicles, and 2 trucks. The ferry will ply the Barima-Waini-Georgetown route. It was built by Indian company Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers Limited and has special features to mitigate challenges faced by travelers. MV Malaysia will return to Georgetown from Kumaka Region 1 on Tuesday, August the 15th at 4 p.m. Now in crime news, 2 individuals have died after a mining pit collapsed in Moonlight Bak Dam, Kamarang, Upper Mazaruni Region 7. The deceased were identified as Trayvon Hastings, the owner of the dredge, and his employee Rocky Norton. An investigation into the incident is currently underway.
Attention truck owners! Between potholes, bad drivers, and high fuel prices, you've got 99 problems to deal with. But with Powered Automotive, your engine ain't one. That's because they stock high-quality parts and spares you need at prices you can't beat. Visit them at Lot 491 EE Eccles or call or WhatsApp them at telephone number 6970171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana.
Tired of waiting on hold, tracking down a delivery driver, or carrying cash for your food orders? GT Eat is here to make your life easier. Guyana's first cashless food ordering and delivery app. Choose from Georgetown's top restaurants, pay securely with your card, and get your food delivered right to your doorstep. With the convenience of being able to order from your phone and the added feature of tracking your order, GT Eats is the ultimate solution for all your food needs. Download the app on Apple and Android stores and start ordering the easy way today.
Recently, Kanu officers found 8 parcels of marijuana weighing approximately 134.9 pounds near Coca in Quarantine Belize. The weed has a street value of approximately $18.4 million, but somehow no arrests were made. No one knows whose weed it is. Nonetheless, investigations are ongoing. Meanwhile, on that same day, a joint operation by the Guyana Police Force and the Guyana Defense Force Coast Guard led to the discovery and destruction of a large farm containing 406,000 cannabis plants in developed village Upper Burpees River. The destroyed cannabis is valued at $1.5 billion. That's a lot of wasted possible tax revenue, just saying. The police arrested a 33-year-old taxi driver, Elson Murray, in Bedford, East Coast Aurora, on Thursday after he tried to evade them, throwing a bag containing 47 grams of marijuana through his vehicle window. Oh wow, why's it gotta be a green ice? It's always them involved in something. Anyway, the cops noticed him leaving a known drug yard and signaled him to stop, but he refused and drove away. However, during the pursuit, Murray threw the bag from his window, which the cops later picked up. After crashing his car into a police vehicle, Murray was arrested and taken to the station, where he is currently awaiting charges. Fabian Smith has confessed to stabbing and killing a 55-year-old shopkeeper, Andrew Harris, during an argument. Harris was found dead with a stab wound to the chest at a newly constructed shop in Middle Missouri River. Smith was arrested and is likely to be charged soon. 31-year-old Tamika Cummings was charged with unlicensed driving and causing death by dangerous driving in the March Kanji Bridge accident, resulting in the death of Glenn McLeod. She was granted $200,000 bail and did not enter a plea. Nonetheless, she was released from custody and is expected back in court soon. Now for today's oil update. ExxonMobil CEO Darren Woods attributed the company's operations in Guyana's Starbuck block in greatly assisting them to distribute $8 billion in cash to shareholders during the second quarter of 2023, including $4.3 billion in share repurchases and $3.7 billion in dividends. The company plans to target $17.5 billion in share repurchases this year and has the ability to make tactical changes in its repurchase activity if necessary. The CEO noted that the company's efforts to structurally improve its earnings power is paying off, as demonstrated during the quarter where it made $7.9 billion in profits with help from Guyana's fast-paced production in the Starbuck block. The region is set to witness the development of 6 FPSOs with a combined gross production capacity exceeding a staggering 1.2 million barrels of oil per day by the end of 2027.
It might not be robbery season, but the streets are still mean. That's why you need to get security for your home and business through Sheriff Security Service. Sheriff Security offers well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, marine patrol, canine services. These people even got drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest, now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today.
Now for our Uncut News Feels Poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Ghana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel at least once. Last night I asked, how do you feel about the PPP's performance thus far, seeing as they've now been in office for 3 whole years?
But before we get to that, I'm proud to announce our latest addition to the Noble Army, Richard Singh, who is supporting us at the reporter level, the highest level of monthly support we've received so far. So thank you, Richard Singh. And also, a special thank you to David Griffith, Dion Nascimento, Project Zero, and Dimitri V. I appreciate you all. And if you're watching at home and you'd like to support our movement, just hit the link in the video description.
Dopamine says, exceptional, top-tier corruption, backed by a dead-meat opposition. Ah, indeed. Yvonne Morris says the PPP needs to stop putting the Chinese in the country. They're just taking over Guyana, and your African and Indian family don't have a say in the matter, and we, the people of Guyana, don't have a say. Just the government needs to check themselves. These people are taking over Guyana, and it seems like the PPP doesn't care. Davy Samaru says, when people nobody voted for run everything, you are not living in a free country. Tucker Carlson. That's an insightful point from him. Anyway, Exxon is giving the directives. We didn't vote for them, but it's clear as day they are the true leaders. Miracle Webster says, it appears that the government is prioritizing the creation of part-time jobs, which may not have a significant impact in the long term. The most recent public service vacancy was in 2019, with the new commissioners and the PSC chairman recently elected last month. It is unclear what employment plans the Ministry of Public Service and the Ministry of Labor have in place. Lastly, it seems like the good employment opportunities are not being implemented by the government promptly. And finally, Dhanraj Mohan wants the government to start borrowing money from other countries to use common sense by using our oil money. Save interest and headaches. Now for tonight's question. Apparently, the government is going back to Parliament again to request another $61 billion. This is just after saying that it's a good thing that we're raising the debt ceiling. Do you agree with this course of action? Why or why not? You to think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your answer is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode next Wednesday. Yes, next Wednesday, because I'm taking this weekend to fulfill my life goal of smacking Henry Kissinger. Anyway, until then, I'm Enrico Bullford saying, have a great weekend. And as always, don't drink and drive, or you'll end up on Wednesday's episode the hard way. Ha! Good night, folks.